What internet marketing expert should you spend your valuable time listening to? Listen to someone who has over 20 years of web marketing experience and hundreds of website marketing success stories. That man is Aaron Sparks from Site Strategics. And this is Edge of the Web Radio.
All right. Quickly, what is AMP? We talked about it last week. The Google AMP project, Accelerated Mobile Pages, is a way for fast-tracking content to mobile devices. It improves upon the traditional model of serving mobile content because it relies on a specific form of HTML called AMP HTML to strip down the presentation of content. The net effect is the mobile user will actually see articles with comparatively basic text and images, but the content will load up to 10 times faster or more than over the traditional formatted content. So why is Google AMP important for SEO? And that's where the big conversation actually lies. Because Google's not saying that AMP is a ranking signal. They're saying it, but they're not saying it, all things considered. Sure. You know,
when they're reporting in a Webmasters, I pay attention.
Yeah, exactly, and they do. As Google often preaches to the industry, page speed and mobile readiness are high-quality ranking distinctions that determine the placement of site content links in the search engine result pages. Right. Yeah. So, a faster site equals better rank signals. Since 2013, Google has been evolving from being a company that provides links to other sites in search results to the company that provides answers to questions in search results. And there's a clear distinction. And this goes to Doug's point earlier, is that they are trying to create themselves as a commodity unto themselves as opposed to just a place to get off the highway to find something that you're interested in. They want to provide the content and provide the answers. So, for example, you can quickly type in like a search like who won the 1969 World Series, okay? And the Mets show up on the see, there you go. Good. On the actual Google search screen. Okay, so you don't have to go further. That's what's called a featured snippet in the eyes of Google. But deeper searches like what are the main issues of the 2016 presidential election? Not who's funded, but what are the issues, right, Doug? These types of questions lend themselves to more in-depth articles. All right. Unfortunately, the simple answers can't be plausibly displayed on search or on the search engine. You got to load another page in order to get that information. As a result, Google has been developing ways to make the links you click on search results load more quickly. This is where AMP comes in. So the AMP project, they've been making these appear prominently in the SERPs, especially in the news section. So the positive impacts of AMP and SEO online, faster loading of articles. AMP embedded articles will rank higher in search engine result pages, period. We're seeing that already in the news, and it's absolutely going to make its way into the common search. Okay. Paid impressions will likely increase as well. After viewing an AMP-based piece of content, the most common thing users do is click back to the SERP to see what else might be relative, right? Or might be important. I'm just going to bowl them right through it. AMP is also for every publisher. This is an open source format, just like you were talking about Apple News. This is an arena where it's allowing everybody to actually participate, unlike Facebook limitations. Facebook limits participation in the instant articles for a select set of publishers, guys. AMP is open source. And on top of that, analytics are coming for AMP as well. So there's going to be enhancements of how your AMP pages do compared to the rest of your website. You know, content is going to get more readers, more features are actually coming to the AMP environment. So this is a heavily focused and developed area right here, guys. So you need to pay attention. But there are some impacts negatively on using AMP. There's no forms in AMP. If you're looking at trying to provide newsletter signups for that content, they're not allowing the forms, quote unquote. They have an iframe that you can put into place, form, but that you can't get a lot of the conversion points that you do with your existing content, your native content. AMP doesn't solve the problem of page speed SEO for non-publisher websites either. A lot of other things that we can talk about in the negative space, but one of the biggest things is the domain authority. If everything's going off to Google for AMP content, it's not staying on the site, guys. So you got to pay attention to that. All right, a lot of information today. I digest everything at edgeofthewebradio.com. Check it all out, all the links and much, much more. And subscribe to the newsletter while you're there. Thanks for listening, and do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. See you next week.